So we will start the lesson now. Now today discussion is mainly focused on software development and related theories. So initially I will go through the core concepts. I'll go through the core concepts related to software development, and you can understand these concepts very easily, but I'll go through concepts so you can move towards, right? This is an introduction, so if you like you can move deeper as you like. Now under the software development, uh, first we need to know the concept. Software development refers to set of computer science, right? It's a set of computer science activities dedicated to process of creating, designing, deploying and supporting software. So what's the main purpose is, it's a set of concepts or processes related to computer science activities. And what are these processes are: creating, designing and deploying and supporting software. So software development is very comprehensive process, and it requires a lot of work to complete. To make sure the software development process runs smoothly, we need some sort of activities. So these are the activities related to software development. How to create a software or related artifacts, and how to define a software, and how to deploy. Deploy means make use by everyone. That means we are present it into the live world. We are, in technical terms, we are to deploy to live. That means everyone can be accessible. If you have privileges, you can access. Everyone means the privilege, the people who do have privileges. So once deployed, we can access to the software. So this is the process. This is the set of activities that related to software development. And roughly, software development is the steps that involve on the process of data gathering to software, gathering to software delivery to the client. So it's a very comprehensive path initialized with data gathering. So initially, whenever a requirement occurs to a single person or a set of people or some sort of company, or it might be some government project, whatever. The idea would initialized by a set of people or a single person, whoever. After initializing the idea, we need to gather the data related to software. I'll give an example. If we want to develop a software to the university students to upload their assignments or assessments, we need to gather the data. Now the concept is to develop a software for the students, and initialized with the data gathering. We need to gather the data related to students. We need to gather the data related to assignments. Assignments means assignments can contain quizzes like MCQ quizzes, or it might be a file upload. If there is a file upload, what is the size of file upload can be allocated? Number of files can be allocated. So these are the data gathering. We need to gather the data. And the other way around, software deliver. Now initialized with the requirements or the data gathering component, and it flow through set of processes, and finally software is delivered to the people or deploy. Software delivery is the process that mainly focus on make the software usable by the end users. That means now we have the, I'll give the same example. We have selected a set of people, university students, and the requirement is to upload their quizzes or the exams assignments. Now, the once we complete the software, we deliver to the students back. Now, the core concept behind is whatever the data gathered, it should be matched with the software delivery. Now, initially we develop or we mainly focus on software development process for the students who required to upload their documents, and teachers can assist or the lecturers can assist it. And now that's a requirement, and we have gathered the data for that. And finally, we have to develop and we have to confirm the completed system would able to upload the assessments and complete the quizzes, and lecturers can allocate marks for the students accordingly. So this is the initial part. This is the final part. But software delivery won't stop from here. There is another maintenance process. There's another maintenance process because there might be issues. There might be new requirements. At that point, there can be a lot of things under this software delivery and beyond. Now, what are the roles and activities in software industry? Initially, a project manager. The project manager is responsible to take over the management related stuff. That means scope, cost, time, recruitment, like lot of activities the project manager should do. Project manager would have to mainly focus on non-technical. That means project manager is not involving with software coding or quality assurance testing. Instead of that, project manager's role is make sure the software is delivered on time with the expected quality with the limit of cost. Now, project manager should be able to manage the cost. Project manager initialized with the budget. You'll get an example, 200,000. The project end should be 200,000, not more than that. If there's more than that, that means project manager is failed. But if the project manager manage the project within 150,000, that means some sort of excellent work has been done by the project. That's how we evaluate it. So there are a lot of activities related to this project manager, not only the cost, but also the time. In the same time, right? We will we have allocated the project to complete within the, this month 31st. So project manager is responsible to deliver the project on time by discuss with the clients as well as the internal development team. So this is the middle point of the project. Software engineer is one of critical role in software development because software engineer mainly involves with software development activities. Many activities like run, we are getting the requirement, and the requirement will initialized by the business analyst or some PA role. So software engineer understood whatever the logic behind the requirement, then Software engineer would code it using some sort of programming language like Java, Python, C Sharp, or any other language. And business analyst is the person who gather the requirement, and mainly business analysis requirement in the software development industry, business analysis is mainly focused on requirements are clear, precise, and achievable. So business analyst should tell this requirement would infeasible to complete as per my knowledge, or this is very high cost, we can't initialize. Think your client is asking to develop a rocket, so business analysis should tell we can't do. Think you are a small in a software development company and you think it's a startup, your business analysis should raise this concern. This is really hard to achieve for us because we don't have this much of technical skills, we don't have experience, the cost can't be allocated, so we are unable to perform this activity. In the other way around, business analysis should understand the requirement clearly and communicate among the team. It might be software engineers, it might be some another role, or it might be project manager. So business analysis is a critical role under the software development process. Then the quality engineers or the quality assurance engineers, these people are mainly involved with the software is performed at certain level of quality. Think your budget is only 50,000 rupees, and if your client is requiring very high grade quality, it's really hard because you don't have enough amount. Your project manager will understand. Yes, insufficient cost, insufficient in funds. So the cost would be really high, and software engineers need more money, and business analysts will tell it's really hard because to perform the activities, the quality assurance people required the clear understanding, and the quality assurance people would involve with the bugs or the issues. That's the quality assurance engineer's role. They should confirm before move or before deploy the software to the real world. This software deployment engineer. Now think we have developed a software, complete software internally by the internal team. Now the software should run in the real world, or everyone can be accessible if you have authority. Software development process in under software engineers and quality assurance people would complete the activities inside the company, and software deployment engineer is responsible to deploy to the real world. Nowadays this deployment engineer's role is performed by different automated technical processes, but still there are software deployment engineers too, and DevOps engineers. Now think, now we have initialized with the cost, we have defined the scope, everything is done. Software engineers develop, business analysis clear the requirement, and quality assurance people are complete with the quality control, and software development engineer, deployment engineer deploys it to the real world. Now it's running, or it's accessible by the other people. So a new requirement arise or a bug. Then the system is tested. I told right. So quality assurance people tested in Windows machine, but the clients are using Mac. Unfortunately, quality assurance people provides a guarantee this software is running in Windows environment. Now there's a conflict because quality is high in the environment of Windows. So what happens to the Mac? It won't work properly. There are some issues or bugs. So back again, the DevOps engineers, these people are responsible to keep the software running smoothly to the end users. There are different roles in DevOps, like GitOps are there, currently AIOps are there, and different level of supports, custom support, L1, L2, L3, likewise different support roles are there. So this is very large. Usually it's more than 60 percentage of the entire work. So these people are mainly focused on 40 percentage, and these people are mainly focused on more than 60%. So DevOps people are responsible to if there's an issue, like a given person can't access to the system due to some reason. So DevOps people involved with that. If unfortunately think the initial case I told, it's not running, it's not performing as well in Mac machine. So DevOps people would respond again back to the development team and inform the story there's some problem. The project manager is responsible back again to provide a cost and time and the scope and whatever, back again the cycle would run. So this is the common scenario. Now we will discuss software development life cycle. Initially, what are the phases of software development life cycle? Planning, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, and maintenance. Since I have discussed a little bit earlier, now you might have some sort of understanding about what are these activities that we will start again. Planning. Planning on software that required to develop. Now, software development life cycle, in the first point, we want to plan the software. We want to provide the technical feasibility, or we have to tell technically we can do this. Think if your requirement is to develop some application technical infeasible, there's no any technical thing. I'll get an example. Your customer is asking to develop your customer is asking to develop a software that is running in every language in the world. The your software should support to the all languages, and it should be grammatically perfect, and it should be run all the software devices, mobile devices throughout. At the moment, world there are a lot of languages, natural languages are there. Unfortunately, even for Sinhala, there's no proper implementation in there. At that case, we have to plan the software. At the moment, this is technically infeasible, but if we have additional cost, then we can perform some sort of activity, or we can allocate some another resource people or a set of resources and ask them to develop for Sinhala, but not for all the languages. If your customer is speaking continuously, I want for the all languages, then we have to tell, sorry, we can't allocate for all languages, and make sure the customer is happy because of the your explanation. This is a technical problem. You we can't allocate all the languages So if you want, we can make it for singular, but there's an additional cost. And that way you can mitigate the risk. You can discuss with your customer while the planning. And in the other case, if it is technically feasible, like if you want to develop small e-commerce application like eBay, no need to discuss or bargain furthermore, because you know the cost and you know the everything, the theory behind the e-commerce applications. There's a cart and you edit, then customer would pay it. Likewise, the cycle also well known. So nothing to worry about that. We can very easily plan such a scenario. There are two scenarios I have spoke to. The first one is technically uncertain or technically infeasible. At that case, there should be some sort of discussion. The second case I speak about, well established technical solutions. We don't want to much worry about that. We can clearly start the project, or we can start with the kick-off project. There's a project kick-off, that means the initialization of the project. The next point is analysis. Now we have gathered the requirement, it's planned, well planned. Now this is the analysis about the feasibility study. Now under the analysis, you have to mention about large variety of situations. It can be cost, it can be time, it can be procurement. Now think your system is asking for a software and it requires a hardware from another country, but unfortunately that country would not export any sort of that hardware device to any other world. At that case, under this feasibility analysis or the feasibility study, we have to explore we are unable to perform the activity. Now, feasibility study is very thorough analysis. It can be cost even very costly. Think we can tell this project would complete within 5 billion. Are you okay? It's a feasibility study. It has very deeper analysis, so you should have proper feasibility study before going beyond. If not, there might be unfortunate or black dots for your company. So analysis is highly responsible in many cases while the software development and design. Now at the analysis phase, it's filtered out. Yes, now we can do it. Analysis confirmed. Yes, it's technically feasible and budget is there, cost is scope is there, and scope means what are the requirements there, and we have sufficient funds, and we can continuous until this time period, and this contract would this much of worth, and we can start the after analysis confirm. Now it starts with the design. Now we have to design the software, how the software should work, what are the entities are involved. Entities means users or automated roles. I will give an example. Under the design phase, we can think we will get an example back again. The university assignment submission system. At that case, we have to define the roles. What are the roles? Lecturer, student, and an administrator. These are the human roles. And there are non-human roles or automated jobs. What are these automated jobs are? We have to design a job for once a student enroll for the system, we have to provide an automated email for the email confirmation. So this is not, or this is not a human involvement. It's an automated job, right? Or your mobile phone verification. You might get an automated phone confirmation or OTP or something. So this is under technical design or the technical views. What are the technical views? I have spoke about mainly two concepts. One is understanding about the job roles related to the human and what are the job roles related to automated. Especially this design process is involved with designing with different kind of diagrams, use case, ER, DFDs, and lot more. This is the design of the software under the technical views. Now, under the design phase, we have clearly understand how the entities are involved, what are the classes or software packages running. We are running under Python or Java, whatever, and what is the database that we are selecting. It might be SQL or MongoDB, whatever. Design. Under the design phase, we have completed it. It's confirmed now. This is the flow. Now we have arrived to the development process. That is the coding, the design software. Now we are coding the software. Now we are completing with the coding the software because the requirement is there very clear and everything is now followed up with the technical design. Now just we have to code because we know what are the packages or what are the system softwares we have to use, what are the things that we require, then just write in the logical component. This requires very high logical thinking and very good understanding about the software and programming skills. It might be database related skills, it might be programming related skills, or it might be user interface related technologies, usability, how users are involved. So at that case, how we are coding. So these are the coding, different coding levels. It's just set of source codes or programming codes using Python or Java or C#. Now we have completed the development phase. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to test the component. Testing means, again back to the I'm telling, testing means process of confirm the quality of the developed project. If your software is developed well, but unfortunately there are some bugs or it might be not validated. Validation means the software should perform some sort of security checks. I will give an example for a given system that should confirm this is a university student at University of Morato or University of Colombo or whatever, or Shivaji University, whatever. It should confirm. Under the testing phase, real data and created data are involved. At the testing, we are using some real data too because we want to check it. We want to confirm the software working smoothly without any bugs or any issues. Especially at that case, for the testing, we have to define the scope we have tested. What is that scope means? What is the environment? What is the environment means? Operating system. One is operating system. We have tested this software in Ubuntu 16.04 and it's working 16.4 upwards. And we have tested this software in Windows 7 and upwards. That means 7, 8 and 10. Ubuntu 16.04 upwards means whatever. 0.10, 17.04, 17.010, sorry 10, 18.04. Likewise, everything is working. In the same way, we can say under the mobile devices, we have checked in Android Lollipop. It's working. Or we have checked in Android Marshmallows. Or we have checked in Android pi or whatever. We have to define the scope. And if that is running in a browser, we have to tell, we have to check it in Chrome, this version, Firefox, this version, Internet Explorer, this version. Now, it's very comprehensive testing process with the test data. So if you know the permutation and combination, so it's like very large set of values are there to check. So this is now mainly focusing with quality vectors. Nowadays, they are speaking about quality vectors, not only this testing, just testing, because currently we are in a world of APIs, application programming interfaces. So you might heard these words sooner or later, but for somehow microservices architecture and event-driven architecture, everything is now testing based on the APIs, endpoints, very, very technically solid environment. So testing is not something simple and easier. The next point is implementation. Implementation means we have to implement it into the real world, because from the starting point, we have tested it up to here very clearly. We have tested the software. Now we want to implement it because we want to host into the real world and allow to the end users or the privileged users. Especially, I would like to state privileged users to enjoy their software. After implementation only, the system is accessible by the privileged users. And maintenance. Under the maintenance, this is very rigorous process, because think your internet connection, or you are facing some sort of issue in your system or the software. What you do is you just give a call or drop a mail to relevant party. That is under the maintenance, because at the moment, if you are using a software, means your software is developed, implemented, tested, and implemented. It's in real world. Now, whatever the software that you are using is under maintenance. If you have some sort of issue or a bug, or it's some sort of technical problem, or it's giving incorrect data, in that case, you would interact with the maintenance people. These are divided into level 1, level 2, and level 3 scopes. Level 1 is the customer support, mainly focusing with the customers, email communication. Over the phone, we can communicate with them and chat with them via different chatting channels like WhatsApp. And that is the L1 people or the level 1 people. They just get the requirement. So initially, they'll give a small solution or some sort of quick solution if they have the knowledge, or if they have privileges to do some modification. If not, it moves back to the L2 level 2 support. Then they do some sort of technical analysis. Still, if the problem persists, then it moves to the level 3 more deeper analysis. Then if that is a requirement, it's a new requirement, it's back again for a change request or CR. It moves back to the phases for the planning, and it moves back. We will pictorialize this entire situation now. Now, this is very rigorous process. Now, it's very clear for you. It's not a simple thing. Uh, it's a cycle. Now, what I have discussed is it's a cycle. It won't stop. Now, I have stopped from maintenance, and I told, like, if there's new requirement, we should plan back again. Now, at the moment, your company is supporting only for Android, but unfortunately, your business is expanding some in other countries. They are using iPhones. Now maintenance team would get continuously calls, continuously mails. This system is not working. This system is not working. In that case, back again, the planning team should start, or the project managers, business analysts, directors, CEO, lot of people, the high level people, and technical architects. We are the technical level, the highest people. Everyone is starting for the planning and the analysis again, then design, development, testing, implementation. This process would cycle forever until the project is worth. If your project is not worth, in some point the maintenance would stop. At that point everything would be stopped again. Now I believe that you are very clear about software development life cycle. Now we will discuss about different branches of software development. First one is software engineering or architecting. Software architect means the person who designed the software. I talked about design phase. I think you can understand it. I spoke about design phase. Under the design phase, software architect is define the scope or structure in the software. He should be the super solid person of the domain. He should know ins and outs in the technical way. Software engineer is the basic role who is starting for the coding. So this is one branch of software development. You can join for a software company as a software engineer and move towards an architect. Not only architect, senior architect, or a lead architect, or a principal architect. Likewise, different levels are there, but I just generalize the architecture. And there's computer programming, obviously, because computer programming is mandatory. You can join as a software programmer and move towards programming concepts. And web application development. Now, what is web application development is your software is optimized for web-based applications. That means your application is running well with internet connection. It might be browser based. That means your application is running using a browser, web browser, Chrome, Firefox, or IE, or Safari, or whatever a browser. Or it might be some sort of application that is consume internet data, or your data is in some another location and it requires to access some server, some place that store the data. Server means a place, and it supports to the work of the software. Think like that. For now, that is the web application development. It's hosted in a web server. Like that is web application development. Now this is very vast area. Web application development mainly focus with the user interaction, very worth job role, user experience, and user interface design. And the same way, programmers are involved. Back again, software engineers are develop the middle component or the logics, and there are backend or the database developers too. And the other one is mobile application development. This is another branch of software development. Mobile application development is mainly optimized for mobile devices, mainly focused on location aware applications. What's the meaning of location aware application? Means your software should run without a specific location, or you just do not want to sit in a place and work with your software. I will give an example. If you are using your Google Maps, you should travel throughout your application is running. It's a good application for location aware. That means it identifies where you are, then it starts with the application to be run. But nowadays, many standalone applications and web applications do have a mobile application version too. Right? Many applications do have a mobile application too because of the very busy schedule. People would not able to sit in a place, but all the time they do have their mobile phone in their hands. They would directly work on that. The next point I want to discuss is software development methodologies. First one, or the current trend, is currently mainly focusing on agile software development methodology, rapid application development methodology, waterfall development methodology. So waterfall development methodology is very old and currently it's not using at the moment. So I'm not mainly focusing on this. But I would focus on these two, agile development and rapid application development. Agile development means you have very small delivery time. That means your requirement gathering to delivery is very limited time period. At that time, you would perform all the required activities and then you develop the application. Then you develop the application within that cycle. The, now, agile development is not the mess up movement for the software development, but currently what I'm realizing is agile development is misunderstood and the people mess up the whole software development processes. But I was realized from my perspective. But it's not software development, it's agile is very fruitful process and very confident mechanism to support or deliver the software in quick way, very efficient way. Different activities are there, different methodologies are there involved in time to time. At that case, you may hear like agile coaches are there, agile scrum masters are there, like different job roles, new job roles are arised, and project managers are not at the agile development methodology. Now, no need to confuse about these things much. Just agile development is a process that can be support for the software development process to make sure the software is delivered in a shorter cycle, in a very shorter cycle, in very confident way. Because if we develop a large software with 2 years and we have hosted it, there might be issues. Obviously, if we develop that 2 year project within 2 weeks continuously, if there's any issue at that time, we can fix it. Now, think if you are traveling from Moratuwa to Jaffna, if you check your bag at think Colombo, you can back again and you can check what are the missing things. Right? If you miss to check your bag until if you move to Jaffna, if you miss some important point, you have to back again to Moratuwa and you have to get that. That means very time consuming and resource consuming. Your cost, everything is there. But if you check rapidly, very small durations, it confirms that you have provide sufficient confident within 2 years. Now, If you are facing your exams after continuously 4 years, you are learning at your university, and at the fourth year all the exams are there. Then at the fourth year you might be very stressful because lot of things are there. What happening in the advanced level? Lot of things to learn within 2 years. Lot of things are there, and you might lot of people get trouble in there. But if the university process that I'm speaking about again, I'm performing quizzes within every 3 weeks. Now you are incrementally learning. Every 3 weeks there's a quiz. So what you have to do is you have to learn only 2 weeks of work. At the third week you have good understanding about what you have learned in last 2 weeks. At the sixth week, there's a quiz. And the sixth week, first 3 weeks you have at least just you have to recap. Your time is very low. At the sixth week you have to learn about the fifth and fourth and fifth work. That's the agile development methodology for the education. But for the software development process, it is the exact same scenario that you may understand. It's divided into small parts, usually for 2 weeks, and it deploys to the real world. Under the rapid application development, this is not like the requirement getting and complete sooner or later with very lot of issues. Instead of rapid application development is the current trend, or the currently we are developing. We have the requirement and we have to complete within a certain time frame by confirming the software engineering or the software development concepts as it is. So that is the rapid application development methodology. And what is waterfall and spiral is little bit older mechanisms. I'm not speaking much about these two components. These are gathering the requirement, then only then it goes to the planning, then it goes to development, then it goes to testing. Likewise, it's a step-by-step process. Spiral also, it's a step-by-step process. But in these two, and at the especially like agile case, you can start with the testing. You have to define the test cases initially, then you can develop the software. So it's like upside down process, right? And DevOps practices, maintenance first. You mainly focus on maintenance, then you back again. So these are very interesting topics to dig more and understand well. Now, next is programming paradigms. First one is functional paradigm, object-oriented, aspect-oriented, hybrid, and lot more. Right? Lot more. Under the programming paradigms, what's happened was it's evolution of the software programming and programming concepts, how these concepts are applied due to different business requirements. Due to different business requirements. So it's a good time to have a small understanding by yourself. So I have given some sort of document for you also. So please refer that also, and I'll available a small self assessment activity. Probably I have enabled almost, so you can complete it under these software paradigms. So please make sure to read as much as, because I have just skimmed these things. You can dig or deep dive into the deep and find valuable things. So I'll stop from here under the software paradigms. It's up to you to dip as much as you can, especially for yourself. In the other way around, if you learn for yourself, it might be easy for the next quizzes too. Right. Object-oriented programming. I just run with this slide, but I'll try to give some sort of understanding object-oriented programming. This is very powerful concept. This is a paradigm of software development that introduces real-world object attributes and behavior could inject to the program code. Now, sometimes you haven't done any code forever. Sometimes you have done some small piece of code, or sometimes you have developed code well, whatever the level you are. Under this software development paradigm, or the object-oriented programming is focused on the real-world objects. Now, what are the real-world objects? Are chairs, human, dog, fan, flowers. Right? These are the objects, real-world objects. Now, what we are going to do is we are planning or we are extracting the things from the object. What's the object? The real world object. We will get an example of a cat. Right? This cat has mainly two two things. First one is there some sort of attributes. What are the attributes? Are this object can explain by these attributes. This specific object can explain. Right? I will give an example. What are the attributes? Skin color. There's a skin color for all the cats. There's a tail. There's a length of tail. And there's a weight. For each and every cat, there's a weight. For each and every cat, there's a height. So you may realize these are the attributes or the common properties of the object. And what are the behaviors? Behaviors are the activities performed by this object. Again, back to the cat example. This cat would able to run. This cat is eating. Cat is sleeping. Cat is jumping. Jumping, running, sleeping, eating. These are the behaviors that we can express the object. I will give another example. If we get a chair, every chair has set of attributes. Attributes are the things that we can describe the object. Every chair has a specific height, the specific color, specific weight. Right? We can describe everything. And behaviors, obviously, there's a behavior for chair. We can throw it away. We can throw it. We can break it. We can break it, right? For a chair, we can break it. We can, it's a destroyable or throwable. This object is a throwable object. This object is a destroyable object. Likewise, we can express these things. Right? Okay. Now, these are the attributes and behaviors. Now, object-oriented programming is inject or extract these things to a source code. How? We can say, if you are not program forever, little bit hard to understand what I'm speaking here now onwards, but I try to minimize that technical gap in between my speaking and your understanding. Okay? I will define a variable. I'm speaking about Java context. Right? I'm defining a variable called int or double weight. That means there's a variable called weight. It has a data type of double, and for a given specific object, it's depend. I will give an example and make sure the statement is clear. I'm defining double height to 1.3. Now what is 1.3 means? My given chair is having 1.3 of height or 1.3 of weight. It might be kilograms, it might be grams, it might be meters, whatever. I'm just not going to that much. But for just roughly understanding, I'm defining a specific value. It's a variable. Why it's a variable? Variable means something varied time to time. It's changing. Now, if we get 10 chairs, you might have 10 different heights. If we get 10 chairs, they are different weights. So it's changing according to the object. Right? Now, what we are going to do is we are going to inject this object attribute into a program code. But the program code is double height assigns to 1.3, double weight assigns to 3.4, whatever. Right? Whatever the thing. PowerPoint slides are there, Puta. There's a question, can you upload the PowerPoint in the Moodle? It's in Moodle. I have uploaded it. So you can download it and you can go through with me. Right? Now, what I have stopped is the object code. Now, whatever the object, different chairs has different heights and different weights. And behaviors, obviously, if we get a very heavy chair, we can't throw it easily, right? We can't throw it easily. If we get a small plastic chair, the baby's chairs, we can throw it very easily, isn't it? So the behavior is changing according to the object, but it's common. It's a chair. Now don't be confused. It's a chair. Yes, of course. It's a commonly we can say it's a chair, but it's varied according to the given specific object. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do this. We are defining a common object, chair, and we are specifying it. This chair is this much of height. This chair is this much of weight. Okay. Now this is the process of object-oriented programming. Java, Python, C++. These are object-oriented programming languages. Now object-oriented programming is on top of mainly 4 concepts. I just skim these concepts, so you will learn later on. But mainly there are 4 concepts. First one is abstraction. That means we can define an abstract behavior or the abstract nature of an object, or just some sort of skeleton. If we draw a small, if we ask to draw a human, if he ask for to draw a human for a child, I think it's a Montessori baby, small one kid. This kid would draw a skeleton of a human, right? There's 2 hands, 2 legs, and there's a middle area with the head, with the big head. It's an abstract of a human, but we have to accept it because it's the abstract nature of the human. Clear, right? This is the concept of abstraction. And objects, I spoke about object. If you ask you to draw a chair, for me, think I can't draw well, I would draw an abstract chair. It's not a chair at all, right? It's not a chair, it's not a table or whatever. It's just an abstract view. It's very ugly design, but it's acceptable, right? I'm focusing on the main core features that child would draw. Core features: a head, hands, and a small body with a big legs or big head, whatever. It's acceptable. The core features are there to make sure it's a human or a human object. That is abstraction. And polymorphism is the concept of defining same activity can be it can be explained by different mechanisms, like polymorphic nature of objects. Some objects do have polymorphic nature. That is, it's like you have like, I'm not sure, some sort of students are from business background. So if I give a chemical example, it might be a problem, right? If we get sulfur hard, right? Sulfur hard, right? There are some, what we call, same thing can be in different ways. So please explain this to the business people if they can't understand. That polymorphic of the sulfur, there are different sulfur is there, solid sulfur and other stuff, right? Likewise, uh, so that example will be hard, right? We'll give an example like this. There are things in the same thing, but it's in different mechanism. So I'll give an example, but this is not the perfect example, but for understanding, if you get some sort of plate of rice, it can be fried rice, or it can be normal white rice, or it can be red rice, right? Some three varieties as I'm speaking. There are polymorphic natures. If we get rice, it's rice, yes. If you get specific rice, it can be white rice or red rice. Or if you get another nature, it can be fried rice. The rice is evolved with the different aspects. That is polymorphism. Polymorphism is mainly involved in the programming to make sure the same behavior to be run in different places. Sometimes this might be a little bit hard to understand because since it's introductory program, but try to understand what I'm speaking here. An encapsulation. I will give an example again. Like now, if you want to protect something, you can hide it. You don't want to show your money, how much is it in your hand. What you do is you put your money into a wallet, right? That is hide the information from the outside. You save your money in a bank which is not accessible by everyone. That is encapsulation. Capsules, what the capsules are doing, they are hiding the medicine inside the capsule. Yeah, I know everyone used at least a capsule. So at that case, uh, encapsulation is the process of that performing activity to hide the information from the live environment, or it's not accessible by everyone. Like, think like a small medicine capsule, it's hide the medicine. I'll back again for the polymorphism. Like I'll give the example for you, then you might understand well. Now different rice types are there, right? Red rice, white rice, and different kind of rice types are there, right? Now this polymorphism is the concept of allocating things, or the using the core concept is rice, but it polymorphic, the same thing is in a different view, right? Same thing in a different view. Now polymorphism is like, we will get an example. uh, Now my father can run fast, right? So obviously I can run fast, but in this case I have different things. Now that example is not fit, that is inheritance. Sorry, I'll give an example like this. I can define the speed of a car by two methods, two mechanisms, by kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Now, the same speed is defined by two mechanisms. The first one is kilometers per hour. The second one is miles per hour. The same thing. Right? Same thing known as speed is defined by two methods or two mechanisms. First one is kilometers per hour, second one is miles per hour. The same, I'll back again to the rice example. The same rice concept we can define by two things. First one is red rice, the second one is white rice. The same concept of rice is defined into two things. I hope it's clear now. Polymorphism is defining that kind of situation. Like if you are learning a little bit deeper, like there's a method overriding and method overloading. These are the concepts of polymorphism, but I don't want to throw it for you for now, since this is very introductory component. So polymorphism is that, and the last component is inheritance. Now, for real world objects, I'm speaking about the real world objects to inject to the program code, right? It was here. And what is inheritance is inherit things from our super ancestors. I will give again another example. My father can run fast. So usually there's a high probability or common situation I would be able to run fast. My father can think, my father can sing well, and I can sing well back again. Right? You may realize these situations in the singers. Lot of parents, if the parents are singers, their kids or the son or the daughter can sing well. That is inheritance. If the father is a politician, and probably the son or daughter can be a politician, there's a high probability. Right? That's the inheritance. That is real world object. That is a real world behavior. Right? In the same way, the real world object attributes can be inherited. My father is skin color is black. My skin color also black. Why it was happened? Because of inheritance. Right? Very clear, right? Very clear. What I'm going to do is now these concepts, these attributes and behaviors, I'm going to draw in a program code. Now, this is the programming concept that I want to teach you. This is a paradigm, and this is very like it's like a groundbreaking point or the turning point of programming. This is very interesting point. And this is another paradigm, but from my perspective, I don't like to make it as event driven paradigm. And no, it's not a event driven programming, though I have mentioned it's there. It's not a programming, it's an architectural style, right? I will give an example. What is an architecture? First of all, right? Now you are developing a house for you. What you have done is you have visited an architect and asked to draw very rich or a nice design, right? Whatever. If you have questions, I'll ask me later, please. I'll explain encapsulation back again, right? Little bit. Give me some time. I'll back again because I have to complete this one. So now we'll start again. Now, what is event-driven architecture is? It's an architectural style. I'll give an example. Now, you want to develop a house, right? Now, you want to develop a house. Now, what you want to do is you want to develop your house very fabulous. There should be a swimming pool and everything should be there, like very, very fabulous. Now, your architect would design the house according to your requirement. Based on the requirement only, the architecture will define. If we go a little bit time back, there's a Roman architectural style. If you visit Sri Lanka, you may see different places in Roman architectural style. It has a special style, right? Presidential office in Sri Lanka, it's in Roman style. You may see it's like very large columns are there, and kind of things are there. And your very sophisticated new house do have another large same stylist, but it's modified by incorporating with different things. That is the architectural evaluation, right? That is architectural changing. Now that is an architecture, right? That is architectural concept, right? So this architectural concept is defining this architectural structure, or how your components are located. Now your house is designed for two people, yourself and your spouse. Now initially your requirement is that, so you have defined your scope to your architect, and you have developed a house. Now, according to the requirements changing, your architecture should be changed. Think now you married, and your spouse is, you are living, and you got twins. Now your space is insufficient. In that case, your architecture should be adaptable to the environment. So if it is a physical environment, it's really hard, right? You have to define new space for your kids. Likewise, software architecture also evolved in evolution. So different architectural styles are there. So that's why I have mentioned this is an architectural style. Under the event-driven architecture, what is event-driven architecture is, if there's some action happen, any significant occurrence or change in the state from system or hardware. I will give a very simple example to understand what is this diagram, right? This is like daunting diagram for you probably, because it's newly born babies, and I'm speaking about very high technical solution, but I'll try to minimize the technical uh, jargon and minimize the technical difficulties for you, and describe to you in simple manner. I will give an example. I believe everyone is using Facebook, right? Now, what is your event source is, the event data is, you clicked a like button. You clicked a like button. This is an event. And any significant occurrence of change, state for system of hardware or software. Now you are using Facebook, you are using mobile Facebook, you have installed it. We will get an example like this, or you might using browser, whatever. At that case, you are using software to interact with the others. You have liked here very fastly, very fastly. The others seeing that you have liked, or you have commented in here. Happy birthday, you have commented. Nanoseconds speed, it would move to the apps. All of your friends can see how it was happened, how these activities was happened, because of this event driven architecture. Actually, this is streaming event driven architecture. My example is more fit, but for now, for your understanding, it's more than enough to understand event driven architecture in this way. Publisher is the people who follows your friends, or the people who are getting the notification of yourself. And this is the event day store. That means the process, like, or you can make it back again, revert it. No need to like, right? And this is the subscriber. The subscribers are the people who allow you to push the notifications for you, right? Now this is the stream, the process or the pipeline carry the data, and these are the apps, and there are simultaneously there are different of syncs. So this is the source, or the data is generated in here, and this is the sink where the data would end with their life cycle, but it's not actually ending. There might be another cycles. There might be some sort of, this database would be connect to somewhere and back again to the publishers or the subscribers, whatever. I'm not speaking very deeper, but for now, if you understood that level, that is more than enough. What is event driven architecture, what the event driven programming, or event driven paradigm, or whatever the thing, right? If you really like, this is a topic that you can go through. I have extract this text from here. Like I will give an example like Kafka. Probably you haven't heard for now. There's a event driven. Actually, this is stream processing event driven platform of Apache Kafka. This is not the uh, only stream processing. There are a lot of stream. What is stream processing means? Real time processing, right? There are a lot of stream processors are there. So this is one of example. If you want to learn about a little bit more, go through with Apache Kafka. But for now, I'm highly demotivating to don't move to that level, because you might stuck very soon. You might not understand what's this concept. Now, another easy component that I'm speaking here now, CAD, or the computer aided designs. So what's CAD? A process of defining computer based design tools for the industry vectors like architecturing and graphics and many other things. So CAD involves with a digital drafting a product instead of a manual design. CAD is mainly involving with the drafting. Now, involved with designing both 2D layer and 3D layer. Now, sometimes you might be thinking, what is this computer aided designs? These are nothing. These are very simple things like 3D Max, Maya, AutoCAD. AutoCAD is a good example for computer aided design. So these are mainly focusing with some sort of graphical, or it might be not graphical, it might be process oriented, or defining some human things that is defining ours. But these computer aided designs are very sophisticated. Now, if you have any experience in AutoCAD, you can define or develop your entire house using AutoCAD before you construct your house. Before you construct your house, AutoCAD provides, even with the sun, how the sunrise, we can see how the shadows are going through. We can switch on and switch off the lights. That kind of sophisticated things are there. Not sure about AutoCAD properly, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. And switching off and switch off the lights. So you can arrange your designs very easily using a computer aided design. So this is like designing tool, especially like architecturing, graphics, not only these things like mechanical engineering. Lot of architectural designs are there. They are defining how these mechanical instruments, or it might be, think it's a ship, you are developing a new ship, or if you are developing a new car, you can draw the entire design before we host it, right? Before we develop even a model. You don't want to develop a model, we can view it in the computer. So I believe that it's clear now. This is very simple thing. Software categories. Now, different software categories are there, like proprietary softwares, sharewares, open source softwares, closed source. Likewise, different software categories are there. Now we will discuss about proprietary software. Proprietary software has a cost. Nowadays, usually it's a license cost. Now, while we are purchasing software, we will get an example. Microsoft Word, right? We will get an example, Microsoft Word. It has a cost. You pay for a license. License means that set of alphanumeric or alphabetical or numeric values, isn't it? It's just a string like this set of numbers and letters. That's it. That is the license, and for that string we have to pay because it enables the software functionalities to work accordingly. Now, proprietary software has a cost. Usually, nearly all the softwares, nearly 99.99% proprietary softwares provide a free trial, at least for 7 days. There's a free trial, right? Because before we pay for the license, we can trial it, we can check it, what are the functionalities, is this fit for our job, because we are paying some amount, okay? Is that paid value is worth for us? So that kind of things we can understand by using a free trial. So my advice is always use the free trial before using the license cost, before purchasing a license, because you get a free trial. You can experiment it, you can check whether that the requirement is fit for you, the software is fit for you, is this software provide sufficient functionalities for you before purchasing it. Now usually the end of the trial period you should buy. In some cases you can extend your trial period with limited functionalities, or your software would not work after specific time period. Right? You can keep it in your machine, your computer, or your mobile phone, whatever. Or it might be a web application. You can go through a different way, but for the trial period means your trial time period is finished. Now, especially I want to emphasize in here, if you are purchasing a proprietary software, you should have sufficient time for the free trial. That means sufficient time means they have allocated 7 days. So you should clear your that 7 days before installing the trial software. If you are installing a trial software for 7 days, and if you perfectly know this entire 7 days is full, your time slots are full, you may not do anything with this 7 days. Please do not install this free trial for your computer, because you have not used your computer, your new software efficiently. What I'm advising is, if you are trial a software, please make sure sufficient time. You have to allocate your time for this proprietary software, because you might pay a lot. You might pay a lot. Right? Different packages are there. Right? Different packages are there to the requirements. I'll give another example in the same way. We will get Microsoft Office package. You might have different packages, home pro, I can't remember the names, extract names, premium, office, different packages are there. I can't remember the extract names, but you can search it in Microsoft Office. There are different packages. If you are a single user, you might do not need to communicate with the team, so do not want to pay for that. Since you are buying a proprietary software, you are paying some amount, you have to get the most fit for you, most suitable software for you. Okay. Now at that case you have to think about, uh, since I'm working alongly with this Microsoft Word, Office, or Word, or Excel, or whatever, I should not buy the largest one. I should not install the largest software that I just want, because the rest of the functionalities are for enterprise versions. It might be concurrent typing, it might be concurrent communication, it might be for a teamwork, If you are working alone, there's no point to install such additional functionalities because your computer might get lost, get slower because it requires additional memory. So think wisely and install the most best fit software for you instead of installing the largest software that it's in the software collection. This is common. Like I'll discuss about the suits at that time. I'll discuss about that also. So whatever the way, whatever the package that is most fit for you, and some sort of popular proprietary softwares are Microsoft and Adobe. They are providing whole bunch of softwares. Not only this, these are some sort of leading software companies. Instead of there are a lot of proprietary software available in current market. And shareware. Shareware is kind of a software that allowed to share software among others, but it has a cost, even it's being shared. So shareware is a like gray area in between a free software and a proprietary software. Now, this software is providing like under certain conditions or the limited functionalities. You can now think you can work for 2 months freely, but to enable some sort of features, you have to pay some amount. Some features are not available. It's free. Yes, you can use it 2 months or 1 year, totally free. It's okay, and you can share with you can share the link with the others. No worries. But the situation is to get optimum use for some sort of functions is not available until you purchase the software or until you pay some sort of amount. So currently sharewares are minimized. Sharewares are conquered by these free trials. So if you understand, if I state like this, shareware is kind of a trial software. Probably it's a best fit for the explanation because currently the sharewares are very rare because no point to do this shareware at the at this current industrial vectors. Open source software. Now, software is developed with the source code. So I am not speaking about this is free. Open source software means the source code. The source code means the program is written by using Java, Python, C Sharp, or whatever the programming language, or R or Ruby, whatever. That source code is visible to the community or the others, or anyone can see what's the source code of this software. That is an open source software. That can be free, obviously. Majority of the cases these are free, but open source software meant the source code is available for everyone. Now, many developers can engage with the software. Probably the open source. Right? Now, now what's happening in here is the software is like we can view the source code and we can, if the customers are speaking about some sort of bugs or issues, then these open source softwares are allowed nearly 99 cases, 99% cases, allow to other developers to support their code changes. So this is like group work. This is like a group work. You can support for operators, oh, sorry, open source software, and you can check what's happening in there. What is the roadmap of there? That kind of thing is open source software. And for open source softwares are hosted or located in GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. So there are private repositories too. But if this is a public repository or if the software is publicly available in these places, you can search in Google or Yahoo, whatever your favorite search engine, GitHub, then you will go to that site. You may see thousands of millions of codes in there, freely available, and source code is open. Sometimes you can support them. GitLab and Bitbucket also, such kind of repositories that the open source softwares are located. Closed source software, these software packages do not explore their source code to the public environment. Now, open source software is a software that allow everyone to check the source code. Closed source software is a software that do not allow to do any to view any software code. Usually the proprietary softwares are closed softwares because they don't want to share their source code with everyone. Now, popular source code softwares are Word, Excel, Photoshop. We can't view the source code of that. We can't see the source code. Right? We can't see the software code, how they have written there. What are the functionalities? What are the data they are gathering? How they are doing that? We can't see. The source code is not visible for us. Right? So these are popular closed source softwares. There are millions of open source softwares are there. Right? There are millions of open source softwares like Apache. Like there are a lot of Apache products like Hive, Big, uh, Beam, lot. Right? There are a lot, millions of open source softwares are there. Closed software source also there are a lot. We can't see the source code accordingly. And software piracy. Now,
Excuse me,
soft
sorry to interrupt. Screen sharing is
right. Software piracy. Software piracy is illegal use of a software. Software piracy is an illegal use of a software. Software piracy is illegal use. So, what are the illegal use? Oh, software, especially. Software is a digital intangible asset. I will give a very simple example. There's a movie that copy the source code. Okay? I don't know. I can't remember the name of that movie. They are copy the source code and they doing some other things. I can't remember. So because it's a digital intangible asset, anyone can copy your source code and publish it very easily if you know the programming. You can, if you can understand what's in there, you can copy someone else's source code and publish as your software. It's really hard to protect. It's really hard to claim that's yours. Right? It's really hard. But it's a someone's intellectual property because company or yourself you have done a lot of effort to complete this software. The companies would spend millions of amount to develop a software. So illegal use of a software is very bad thing, right? Now again, if we speak about the distribution, you can share software like within few seconds among large set of people. Within 1 hour, even you can spread around the world very easily. but it's unauthorized because you haven't purchased the software. So this illegal use of software is piracy. Software is a digital asset, and it's very bad thing to make the software available in illegal way. So what are the different approaches for the illegal users? First one is soft loading, make illegal copies and distributing among others. Soft loading
Excuse me,
is
sir.
yes,
I thought screen share is off.
sorry,
Uh, Screen share is off, I thought.
screen sharing is
We
Oh,
can see your screen, sir.
we can see your face. Yeah, okay.
now can right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. Okay, I'll back again then. Now we will discuss about different approaches for the illegal users. The first one is soft loading. Soft loading makes the illegal copies and distribute among others. Now, if you purchase a software and if you can make some sort of copies, you can write to a pen drive, you can write to a CD or some another place, or you can get a copy of a DVD and you can send around to the others and distributing among others. So this is happening as a soft loading and software rental. Renting a license software among others as a rental software. So this is also another branch of software piracy. At that case, uh, you are renting the license software. You are renting the software, and others would pay a little amount. Think the software is 100, no, 1,000 or 10,000. You rent it for 100 rupees. Now, for end users perspective, this is very worth. End users perspective very worth because we don't want to spend 10,000. We just want to spend 100 rupees. But in ethical mechanism, it's a software piracy. So you extract someone's else intellectual property and use it very badly. Right? If you if you are ethical person, you have to think twicely before performing a software piracy. Right? So you may go to this link. You might learn a little bit more, and you can move dig deeper on this context. This is very deeper context. Now, if there's a software piracy, how to avoid this? We have to avoid this piracy, right? The first solution, the first and the best solution is purchase the license software. You don't want to nowadays. You don't want to go here and there. All the softwares available in their websites. You can just purchase it. You can use your card, your credit card or a debit card or whatever, Visa card, Amex card or whatever. You can purchase the software. Nowadays, for like countries, different countries, they have categorized low income, middle income, and high income. Especially low income and low middle income countries would get some sort of discounts. At that case, you can purchase the software license in lower cost, which is uh, which is a good position for you if you are willing. But if you don't have that money, think if you are thinking to spending 10,000 for Microsoft Word is not worth at all. If you are spending 10,000 rupees for Word, it's not worth at all. What you can do is there are a lot of fast solutions. Now, these are free and open source solutions. Now, There might be free softwares too, but not the open softwares. But I would highly recommend use free and open source solutions, because some free softwares are intended to extract your personal data. If you are not a computer scientist, or if you are not solid in computer world, free softwares might have some sort of vulnerabilities or defects or some sort of patches or some sort of processes to grab your personal information, or it might be some sort of advertising platform. So they are doing very crappy things for earn money by using these free softwares. So instead of, my recommendation is free and open source softwares. You may search a free and open source solution. If you don't have money to purchase Microsoft Word, there are a lot of free and open source solutions are there. Free solutions are there. Right? You can download it and use it, and even you can share with the others. Now, the common question that I have got from previous time is, sir, what about the easiness than the quality of the product? Now, if you are using an alternative for Microsoft Word, yes, obviously, it's not sophisticated like Microsoft Word, right? It's not. I'm not sure why, but it's not. Right? Somehow, it's not that much of sophisticated. But the core features, the core functionalities, what you want to do is, you want to add an image, you want to add a table, you want to add some sort of description, you want to add the headers and footers, you want to add the list of figures, and you want to page numbering, right? Usually for a Word person, what you do, you just type, and it provides some sort of formatting tools. For general view, it might be not that much of very attractive, yes, but you can perform your activities. If you if you change your attitude, you can work it very easily without any issues. And especially if you are moving towards like software development company or decision scientists or data scientists, at that case you might use Ubuntu instead of Windows. Nearly 60 percentage or 40 to 60 percentage companies allow developers to use Ubuntu because they don't want to purchase a software license for Windows. They can reduce the cost, the company. So if you are moving to a company, you can't work your own personal laptop. Instead of what they are asking, their agreements, they have you have to use. At that case, many companies using Ubuntu machines. At that case, you might get stuck. So my advice is, if you are planning move towards technical solution, it's best time to install Ubuntu alongside your Windows, and slowly move to Ubuntu, because if the company would ask you to move to Ubuntu, you will get stuck. If your company is very rich, fortunately, if you have selected by a very rich company, you might get a Mac machine. That's a perfect thing. You will learn Mac very easily if you have experience in Ubuntu, because from my personal experience, I have used Ubuntu once I'm a university student. Uh, for first time, for my first job, I got Windows, and then I got a Mac. I merged to Mac very easily. I haven't touched a Mac before that, right? For my life forever, the first time. But I have merged very easily because I have experience in Ubuntu. But what I was realized is, fortunately, I merged with it. Yeah? That's why I'm speaking about this. Using free and open source softwares is very good, right? And support them if you can. And last but not least, I want to speak about alternative web applications. I will give a simple example. I will give a simple example. If you want to edit a photo, a small photo, you can purchase Adobe Photoshop. Obviously, that's the perfect solution that I have used for myself. Photoshop is the perfect. But you may search in any search engine, Google or Yahoo, whatever. You can find large amount of alternative softwares that you can do small things. Right? Instead of installing this software pirated way, you use an online tool, but make sure to protect yourself because digital world is very crappy. They might grab some sort of information from you, so be careful when you are using any alternative web application, but that is a good alternative instead of this using this pirated softwares. Right, now thank you everyone for the today lesson.